January 19th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, bringing you the area's latest local news. Rob Adams joins us, of course, with the latest in sports and weather, and Donald Ang takes a look back on this day in history. But first, Governor Daniel P. Malloy has activated the state's severe cold weather protocol as the state experiences bitter cold wind chills, and a wind advisory has been issued for parts of the state. The severe weather protocol was enacted on Monday, and it will last through Thursday. With cold temperatures and winds, it can sometimes feel well below 0 degrees. In those extreme cold temperatures, exposed skin can become frostbitten in just a matter of minutes. Both people and pets should stay indoors and only go out for short periods of time. If needed, a list of warming centers and shelters can be found by calling 211 or visiting 211ct.org. And of course, we'll get more on the forecast later from Rob. And in more news today, Bridgeport police are continuing to investigate what they consider to be a targeted shooting of a man shot on Platt Street Sunday morning. 22-year-old Giovanni Reyes of Voigt Street remained in critical condition yesterday at St. Vincent's Medical Center. Reyes was shot multiple times by someone in a passing car at about 11 in the morning Sunday, police said. Voigt is about 3 blocks away from Platt Street, connected by Reservoir Avenue and close to the Trumbull Garden housing complex. Last week, we shared a story from the New Canaan Advertiser on neighbors being upset that a private homeowner was setting animal traps that those neighbors thought were inhumane or cruel to the animals getting caught, like the fox in the photo that we have. Since then, others have chimed in, including the Connecticut Humane Society. 4 New Canaan residents and a wildlife conservationist have contacted the Advertiser during the past week to protest the trapping at a Briscoe Road residence. Kathy Kangas is a New Canaan resident and a business owner, and she's a board member of the Humane Society of the United States. She told the Advertiser that leg hold traps like the one used on Briscoe Road inflicts intensive cruel suffering. She described them as medieval torture, non-selective, and the most disgusting method. She said it isn't just stupid cruel, it's deliberate cruel. No one needs to be doing this. Kangas is contacting First Selectman Rob Malazzi, U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal, Governor Malloy, and the property owner directly in a letter to the owner. Kangas said she is offering to fly in a team of Humane Society wildlife experts to visit the property and the owner and explore alternatives to the trapping. It is hunting and trapping season in Connecticut, and it is legal to trap coyote, fox, beaver, and other animals in designated public areas and on private property, so long as that trapper has a state permit. You can follow that story at ncadvertiser.com. Stamford police are looking for a panhandler who allegedly stabbed a woman as she was out for a walk with her child on Myrtle Avenue Saturday night. Stamford police say the woman was walking with her 4-year-old child near the Interstate 95 overpass when she was approached by a black male who asked her for money. According to the Stamford Advocate, the woman replied that she did not have any money and kept walking. A second or two later, she felt a jabbing pain on her right side of her stomach and hurried back to her apartment, seconds away from where she was assaulted. After she went home, she saw blood on her clothes and called police. Doctors told investigators the stab wound was 4 inches deep. The woman was kept overnight Saturday for observation and was treated and released. Police said the woman did make any other comments to the man, and the assault appears to have been unprovoked. The suspect is described as a tall, heavy-set black man, about 30 years old, wearing a black jacket and blue jeans. Police said the man is known to hang out in that area. Anyone with information on his identity is asked to call police at 203-977-4417. Former supermodel Stephanie Seymour was arrested for allegedly driving drunk after she backed into another vehicle on the ramp at Exit 5 in Greenwich Friday evening, according to Connecticut State Police. 47-year-old Seymour of North Street in Greenwich was pulling off the southbound lanes of I-95 at the wheel of a 2015 Range Rover at about 9:15 at night. At the stop sign, Seymour backed into the car behind her, which was a Mercedes sedan driven by a 29-year-old New Haven woman. According to the arrest report, no one was injured, but state troopers arrived on the scene and reported that Seymour appeared to be under the influence. She refused to perform a field sobriety test, but police said in their report her eyes were bloodshot, she was unsteady on her feet, and her breath smelled of alcohol. Seymour was transported to the barracks in Bridgeport for booking and later released on a $500 bond. She was also given a ticket for unsafe backing. Her court date was set for February 2nd in Stamford Superior Court. Darien police were dispatched to the Avalon apartment complex at 137 Hollow Tree Road on January 16th on a report of missing weapons. A 52-year-old Darien resident told police that a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun and a 3-foot-long samurai sword had been taken from a garage in the complex. The complainant had been storing items in his sister's garage for a pending move since January 9th. He told police that he had first noticed the items missing the previous day, but believed they might have rolled under his motorcycle cover. However, after checking the next day, he contacted police. The shotgun was said to be over 20 years old and was of unknown make. According to the owner, the bamboo-sheathed sword is more than 100 years old and could be worth as much as $2,500. Both items were last seen on January 15th. The owner of the garage, the complainant's sister, said that the key had been with her the entire time, but it was possible the garage was left open. All right, we're going to throw it over now to Rob Adams for a look at the weather today. Rob?
All right, Kate, good morning, everyone. A mostly sunny day with a high near 26 and wind chill values between 10 and 15. Going to be chilly out there. The wind is from the northwest at 15 to 18 and will gust as high as 37. Tonight, mostly clear, low 19. Wind chills between 10 and 15, and the wind continues out of the northwest, 6 to 11, gusts as high as 34. To Wednesday, increasing clouds, high 32. Wind chill between 10 and 20. Northwest winds 6 to 11, gusts as high as 23. The wind finally dies down Wednesday night, low 21, mostly cloudy. To Thursday, sunny, high 32. 16 the low for Thursday night, partly sunny, and 31 for Friday. Looking like, as of right now, snow likely mainly after midnight with a low of 21. It's a 60% chance of snow from the National Weather Service. And then to Saturday, more snow likely, blustery, high 30, chance of precipitation 70%, but keep in mind this is Tuesday, so it's still an event that we're monitoring and will be evolving. Around the area right now, Greenwich has 24, Ridgefield at 20, and Shelton right here, 23 degrees.
All right, thanks, Rob. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Don Eng joins us to take a look back on this day in history. Rob has some sports highlights for us, and we have a lot more headlines coming up on your coffee break after this.
Had a sports injury that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist quickly. Their highly trained orthopedic professionals expertly treat you without an appointment. Skiing, snowboard, or sports accident, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk. Call 203-845-2070 or coastalorthoexpress.com. Find them on Facebook at Coastal Ortho CT.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday, right here on the HAN Network.
It's Tuesday, January 19th. We're back on your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. It is the time in the show when we throw it over to Donald Eng for a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, on this date, Kate, a presidential pardon for a broadcaster who was imprisoned at the insistence of another broadcaster. But first we go to 1937. Howard Hughes sets a new record, flying from Los Angeles to New York City in 7 hours, 28 minutes, 25 seconds, breaking his own record set the year before by about 2 hours. Hughes made the flight on only a few hours' notice. After hearing that another pilot was planning to make an attempt at the record, the New York Times reported he decided to wheel out the ship and give them something better than that mark to shoot at. 1953, 72% of all televisions in the United States tune into I Love Lucy to watch Lucy give birth. The episode was the culmination of an unprecedented pairing of the fictional pregnancy of Lucy with the real-life pregnancy of Lucille Ball. The episode had been filmed in November. Ball actually gave birth to Desi Arnaz Jr. about 12 hours before the episode aired. 1977, snow falls in Miami for the only time in the history of the city. On that same day, actually, there was snow in the Bahamas. And finally, we go to 1977, when a infamous broadcaster was pardoned. There was this.
Hello, Yankee brothers. This is your Japanese sister, the voice of truth.
Get Tokyo Rose.
Reaches out to you from the peacefulness of Japan, laden as always with love, but today also with sorrow because of what your superiors are making you do. This morning they are forcing you to attempt the impossible.
Is that Tokyo Rose?
Brothers?
Yeah, I guess so.
The impossible.
And no accident.
For it is impossible for you to dislodge our forces on Iwo Jima.
Iwo
That's
Jima?
why on this
She's got the
particular
straight
morning,
dope.
I am filled with sadness for you because of the thousands of Japanese soldiers safe in caves and pillboxes your bombs and shells can't touch, reluctantly waiting to slaughter you.
Yes, it was on this date in 1977 President Gerald Ford pardons Eva Toguri, also known as Tokyo Rose. More than a dozen female Japanese broadcasters were dubbed Tokyo Rose by the Allies, but the name is most strongly associated with Toguri, an American citizen born to Japanese immigrants. She was visiting sick relatives in Japan when war broke out, and the State Department refused to allow her back into the country. The Imperial Japanese government demanded she renounce her American citizenship, and when she refused, she was branded an enemy alien and denied a war ration card, which forced her to go to work for a Japanese news agency. Starting in 1943, Japan began forcing Allied POWs to read propaganda, and Toguri was paired with Australian Major Charles Cousins, who had been captured in the Singapore campaign, and who she knew because she had been caught smuggling food to his men. The show was a mix of pop records and slanted news reports, and Japanese censors had no feel for the sarcasm and double entendres of the Cousins and Toguri reports. After the war ended, the U.S. military detained Toguri for over a year before releasing her for lack of evidence. When she tried to return to the U.S., Walter Winchell and the American Legion lobbied for a trial which resulted in her conviction on a single treason charge, for which she served 6 years. Happily, though, on January 15, 2006, the World War II Veterans Committee awarded Toguri its annual Edward J. Hurley Citizenship Award, citing her indomitable spirit, love of country, and example of courage she gave to her fellow Americans. Tokyo Rose, pardoned on this date, 1977. That's your look back in history, and I am Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, getting back to a little more news today, with the Connecticut Supreme Court hearing set for today in Hartford, New Canaan's Terry Buell told the Advertiser in an interview that she was fighting to have her 2013 conviction harassment overturned to allow journalists to maintain their confidentiality of sources as much as anything. 42-year-old Buell, an investigative journalist whose website terrybuell.com lists a wide variety of publications for which she has written, was originally accused of setting up a Facebook account full of pictures and posts about a 17-year-old girl in 2010 that led to harassment, breach of peace, and interfering with police charges. The girl was her then boyfriend's daughter. She was acquitted of interfering with the police investigation, but found guilty on misdemeanor charges of harassment and breach of peace. In 2014, the Connecticut Appellate Court reversed the breach of peace conviction. She's trying to have the Supreme Court overturn the remaining harassment conviction. You can get updates on that story at ncadvertiser.com. But it's time now to throw it over to Rob Adams for the latest in local sports. Rob.
All right, Kate, thank you very much. It was also on this day 14 years ago that, well, it was the tuck rule game as the New England Patriots knocked off the Oakland Raiders and moved on to the Super Bowl, thus teaching all of New England that there is indeed a football team in Massachusetts. Let's now go to local sports. Brady Jensen had a terrific day on the ice for the Trumbull Eagles yesterday as the Eagles took on the Massac Panthers in Shelton. We had the call right here on the HAN Network, and here are the highlights. From the rinks at Shelton, it's high school hockey on the HAN Network.
Good McMahon with a 1-0 lead over Wilton early second period.
Off the face-off, it goes in the net, and that was not the intention. But boy, sometimes you throw it on net and good things happen. Massac will take the 1-0 lead, and I believe Denham will get the goal. Now it comes back into the left circle, and spinning around is Brady Jensen. Jensen redirects it back out to center, off the boards to Leibowitz, right circle, puck loose for the put-home. They score! Here come the Eagles. Nifty move down on net, and the save made by Wise. Boy, that would have been so beautiful for Jensen to finish that, but Wise up to the task. Oh, and it's loose through traffic from the blue line, and Trumbull scores. Sometimes a goal is going to be bowling shoe ugly, and that was it right there. Jacob Leibowitz makes it a 2-1 game. You can hear the announcement at 3:16, so Jake Leibowitz from Terrio at 3:16. It's a 2-1 game, looking for more, and they almost got it. Now they score off the backhander. Eric McCabe makes it a 3-1 game. Played all the way back out, and now it's Denham. Denham across the Trumbull line. Denham into the left circle, throws it on net, and they score. New life for the Panthers. It's a 5-2 game. Unbelievable. 2:50 to go, second period here. It's a 5-2 game, but that's stunning entertainment news coming across right now. Now across the line come the Eagles. They'll go into the slot. Backhanded score! Jensen again. Like Will Ferraro, the defenseman, to play it with 6:29 to go. It's a 6-2 game. Puck loose. Another try, and there's your hat trick. So Brady Jensen with the hat trick as the Eagles exploded for 5 in the second period to put the game away. Will Gutman made 29 saves for the Eagles. They get the 7-2 win. Tag Wise made 31 for the Panthers. In Greenwich, Eddie Glassmeyer scored twice. Thomas Solger added a goal in the third period as the Darien Blue Waves staked their claim for the best team in the state with a 3-0 win over the Greenwich Cardinals. David Voigt made 20 saves for the win, while Greenwich goalie Nick Bizzuto made 25 saves. A huge win for the New Canaan Rams. Who can figure them out? Tyler Hill scored 4 times to lead the Rams past Xavier 5-1 in Darien. Elsewhere on the scoreboard, one other game, Norwalk McMahon needed overtime to knock off Wilton 2-1. We switch over to girls ice hockey. Just one game on the docket, and it was Trumbull over Daniel Hand at the Northwood Ice Pavilion 4-0. To wrestling, Danbury over Mount Anthony. That's in Vermont, but they played down here. Danbury wins 34-23. Girls gymnastics, success for Greenwich as they knock off Wilton 142.2 to 133.2. And in boys basketball, just one game locally from the FCAC, part of the MLK tournament at the Webster Bank Arena, and a big win for Wilbur Cross. They knock off Central 89-40. On to the schedule for tonight. We have Wilton at Fairfield Ward at 7 in boys basketball. Trinity Catholic is visiting West Hill. St. Joseph hosting Danbury. It's Staples hosting Greenwich. Trumbull at New Canaan. Stanford at Darien. And McMahon at Ridgefield. To girls basketball, kind of reverse it. Darien at Stanford, Norwalk at Central, McMahon home for Ridgefield. It is West Hill at Trinity Catholic, Ward at Wilton, Danbury home for St. Joseph, Staples at Greenwich, New Canaan at Trumbull. One girls ice hockey game, Brantford comes down and takes on Stamford at the Terry Connors rink, and in wrestling, Norwalk hosting Wilton. And of course, Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. Donald Eng and I will be along for that today as well. And then hockey tomorrow, back in Shelton for what's going to be, I think, a very interesting game. We'll see how how Darien comes off that win over Greenwich yesterday. They take on St. Joseph, and many people are high on the Cadets. That's tomorrow here on the HAN Network. But for now, with sports, I'm Rob Adams. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks, Rob. Well, we're going to step out for a break, come back and recap some of the top stories we're following today on your coffee break after this.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where automation will never replace consideration. Where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. The construction is incredible, whether it's the floors, the fireplace, the moldings, the lighting. It's as peaceful as my home was in the middle of the woods. It feels like a house. It does not feel like a condo or a townhome. I feel like I'm in my house.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We're back on this Tuesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today, including that Governor Daniel Malloy has activated the state's severe weather cold protocol as the state experiences bitter cold wind chills, and a wind advisory has been issued for parts of the state. The severe weather protocol was enacted on Monday and will last through Thursday, January 21st. With cold temperatures and winds, it can feel well below 0 degrees, and in those extreme temperatures, exposed skin can become frostbitten in just a matter of minutes. Again, both people and pets should stay indoors and only go out for short periods of time. If needed, a list of warming centers and shelters can be found by calling 211 or visiting 211ct.org. And Bridgeport police are continuing to investigate what they consider to be a targeted shooting of a man shot on Platt Street Sunday morning. 22-year-old Giovanni Reyes of Voigt Street remained in critical condition yesterday at St. Vincent's Medical Center. Reyes was shot multiple times by someone in a passing car at about 11 in the morning on Sunday. Voigt is about 3 blocks away from Platt Street, connected by Reservoir Avenue and close to the Trumbull Garden housing complex. And last week, we shared a New Canaan Advertiser story on neighbors being upset by a private homeowner's animal traps that they thought were inhumane and cruel to the animals getting caught. 4 New Canaan residents and a wildlife conservationist contacted the Advertiser during the past week to protest trapping at a Briscoe Road residence. Kathy Kangas, a New Canaan resident and business owner, and who is a board member for the Humane Society of the United States, told the Advertiser that leg hold traps like the one used on Briscoe Road inflicts intensive, cruel suffering. She described them as medieval torture, non-selective, and the most disgusting method. Kangas is contacting First Selectman Rob Malazzi, U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal, Governor Dannel Malloy, and the property owner directly. Kangas said she is offering to fly in a team of Humane Society wildlife experts to visit the property and the owner and explore alternatives to the trapping. You can get more on that story at ncadvertiser.com. And as we mentioned earlier, police are looking for a panhandler who allegedly stabbed a woman as she was out for a walk with her child on Myrtle Avenue Saturday night. Stamford police said the woman was walking with her 4-year-old child near the Interstate 95 overpass when she was approached by a black male who asked her for money. According to the Stamford Advocate, the woman replied that she did not have any money and kept walking. A second or two later, she felt a jabbing pain on her right side of her stomach and hurried back to her apartment, which was seconds away from where she was assaulted. After she got home, she saw blood on her clothes and called police. Doctors told investigators the stab wound was 4 inches deep. The woman was kept overnight Saturday for observation and was treated and released. Police said the woman did not make any other comments to the man, and the assault appears to have been unprovoked. The suspect is a tall, heavy-set black man about 30 years old, wearing a black jacket and blue jeans. Police said the man is known to hang out in that area, and they ask anyone with information to call them at 203-977-4417. Switching gears now to an interesting story from the Ridgefield Press, who took a look at the lost and found in police headquarters there. According to the press, it's been a long time since anything of great value has turned up in the town's lost and found at the police station. The last big find was more than a dozen years ago. Volunteers at the thrift shop found cash totaling nearly $10,000 in the pocket of a jumpsuit that had been donated. The find was put in the lost and found at the police station, but was never claimed and ultimately became a donation. However, there's nothing like that now at the lost and found, as you can see in that photo. Police Captain Jeff Kreitz said currently they have multiple sets of keys, cell phones, and a few bicycles. But you can get more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. Rob, I can't believe all those people have lost their keys and are still able to drive around somehow, I guess.
I don't get
know.
it. Yeah, it's a little strange, but nonetheless, let us talk about some weather here on your Tuesday. It's a mostly sunny day with a high near 26. Really is cold out there, and you're feeling it with the wind chill. It's between 10 and 15 with the wind out of the northwest from 15 to 18, gusts as high as 37, and it's going to stay like that. Clear tonight, low 19, gusts as high as 34, wind chill between 10 and 15. Tomorrow, the gusts as high as 23 with increasing clouds and a high near 32. And as we look to Wednesday night, low 21, Thursday sunny, high 32, to Friday partly sunny, high near 31, and that's when we begin to see this potential snowstorm that's being called a blockbuster in some areas. Let's see, it's still Tuesday, let's see how it kind of comes to be, so we'll keep you posted on that. And you look through the weekend, the snow is likely on Saturday, high 30, Sunday, chance of snow, high 34, and back to Monday, partly sunny, a high near 37. But around here right now, Greenwich at 25, Ridgefield stays steady at 20, and Shelton remains at 23 degrees, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, that about does it for your coffee break. Coming up later today at 12:30, The Drive with Denise. She has a guest from the Westport Library on, who's part of the library's maker space, so definitely tune in for that. And of course, Rob Adams and Don Ang at 2 o'clock with Nutmeg Sports. We'll be back tomorrow at 11. See you tomorrow.